So, it is Anusha. I have just gone out and taken out the rubbish, which took like an hour. So, yeah. And you get these on the face of my store. This is not an ad work. So let's do all this again. Because I'm not even fucking recording. I just realised. Hi, it's Anusha. I have made a mistake. I double booked myself today because I was supposed to wash my hair. However, I also forgot I was supposed to record a YouTube video. So we are doing both. Hold on. This is going to be an amalgamation of a lot of topics. It's not just one topic video that I usually like to do. Because a lot has happened and I think I want to really delve into some stuff, but I also don't have time to talk about things and do reason whatever. So I'm just kind of gonna do initial thoughts, TM, everything. Like I said, I need to wash my hair, so I need to untwist my hair while I'm doing it. So I'm gonna do both. Gonna see a lot of shit happening at the same time. So let's just get on with it. Alright, I want to talk about Selling Sunset. Fuck Mary, fuck Brie. They know they're racist, and I think they know the audience that they want to pander to, so you can't trick me. But one thing I will say about the commentary around Selling Sunset is a lot of you don't deserve queer friends. Chriselle is a white woman. Yes. Chriselle is a white woman. We can agree on that. Chriselle also deserves to defend her partner, and I think if you don't know how disheartening it is, especially when you're newly queer, to have someone be openly queerphobic to you and you are expected to just deal with it. I think we're in a scary time where the general consensus is Chriselle, deal with it. Like, no. See, if that was me, the way I would jump Baldy, the way I would jump pretend to be black, the commentary around queerphobia and Selling Sunset in general has not been great. Do better for next time. Hollyoaks. It was Hollyoaks' 30th anniversary. I had a lot of fun with it. I think it was one of the best episodes they've done so far. I'm also kind of nervous going forward though, because they're doing a storyline with this black actor who I want to say is going to be like a toxic masculinity type thing. And look, I do love Hollyoaks. I don't like the way Hollyoaks treats black people, and I don't like the way Hollyoaks deals with black stories. So I'm a little bit fucking nervous about how this is going to go. Similarly, I'm actually just guessing. So this story could be a storyline about positive masculinity or whatever. Maybe they're trying to combat something. I don't know. But I made a little Hollyoaks Instagram page where I talk about this more. Please go follow it because I think I've done pretty well. Scapegoats has got 1,000 streams on Apple Music. Now, we all know that Anusha does not do metrics. Anusha does not do numbers because I don't really... I think I've said to you before, and if you haven't, so go watch this video where I talk about Spotify and how it's really decimated the way we talk about music. There was someone in San Francisco, or not San Francisco, San Diego, in the San Diego Zoo, I don't know. There was someone in San Diego who has been listening to my music like for the past 2 weeks straight. I don't know who you are. I don't know the collective of people who you are. But thank you. That's very nice of you. Yeah, that's news. News is done. Lightning round done. Let's talk about AI music quickly, because I think some people are missing the point. I think if we don't change the way we communicate and promote music, then ultimately the problem is still going to persist whether AI music exists or not. What do I mean? Right, so there's this lady who's come out. She basically was like, oh, I'm the person behind this AI artist. Okay. And she was being interviewed by Gayle King, yada, yada, yada. You know the deal. Trying to defend it. Lots of money behind it. She can't write music. She can't sing. So she thought, let me put some prompts into AI and let me do my thing. It's all being sponsored. You know the drill. However, a lot of big artists like Jermaine Dupri, who, if you don't know, is a black bald man who dated Janet Jackson, flopped that one hard. He basically said something which really made me think, because I think he was kind of right, but I think he was kind of wrong. He talked about Milli Vanilli, and he said that when Milli Vanilli were found out to be lip-syncing their songs, They got lambasted by the music industry. They had to give back a Grammy, and now we're just accepting AI music. Why is that the case? Well, Jermaine Dupri, if you know me, which you don't know me, but if you know me, you know that I actually really I don't love the story about Milli Vanilli, but I have researched that story quite a bit, and it's just been a weird interest because there was a behind the music of it years ago, kind of before I was born, I think, and I've watched that so many times. And then more recently, there was a documentary about Milli Vanilli, and actually, they interviewed the one surviving guy, and I hate the story, but I love the story because it is music history. If you don't know the story about Milli Vanilli, it's two black guys from Europe, important. They wanted to be singers, they wanted to be dancers, they wanted to be famous. So they get picked up by a white German guy, important. They're like, okay, cool, we're making new music. They start singing in a studio, they don't really like the sound of their voices, so they get 3 American black guys to kind of dub over it. Now, everybody was in on it, right? There was no like, oh my God, I didn't know. Everybody knew. And that is including the audience, all right? You cannot tell me that these guys are singing and have this American style accent, and then when they start talking, they are like, hello, I am German man from the, do you know what I mean? Like, come on. Everybody knew. But that was kind of the performance. That was the point. The reason they got found out was 2 things. One, the famous track that got skipped, and they were on stage, girl, you know it's true. And then it kind of went, girl, you know it's the track skipped because back in the day it was tape. And so they go backstage, they're all embarrassed, they're all like, oh my God. And everyone was like, oh my God, they didn't sing? Yeah. So they came out, kind of blew past it. It was supposed to be like a music project, kind of like the guys that did Barbie Girl or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it was supposed to be just like a music venture. But then they got nominated for a Grammy. Now, they were getting nominated for a Grammy, and the people that were like, this was like the Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson era, everyone was like, excuse me, Milli Vanilli? They were kind of shocked. Even they were shocked. They got the Grammy, they won it, and they all got a bit contentious. But here's the real reason why Milli Vanilli got found out. And God, that's such a YouTube vernacular, but whatever. Money. Basically, the 2 guys wanted to come out and be like, hey, that wasn't us. A lot of the original singers came out and were like, hey, that wasn't them, it was me. What then started happening is that the money was threatened because they were money makers at the end of the day, which means that this white German man's money was threatened. He kind of was like, they're not the real singers. My point is that Milli Vanilli didn't get lambasted by the industry because they were lip syncing. They got lambasted by the industry because how dare you threaten our money making machine. That's it. AI allegedly makes people money. That's why there's so much investment in it. The moment that it stops making people money, it will just be another fad, right? So I think going into the idea, let's go into this topic with the idea of capitalism. Capitalism is the reason why AI is being revered, because AI is the picture of progress. It's the idea of innovation. Capitalism means that you have to move forward. You have to exploit smarter, quicker, better, right? And people have already pointed out that AI doesn't talk back to you. AI doesn't strike when it doesn't get paid enough. AI doesn't ask for more money, things like that. AI is the perfect machine in hindsight, right? What I would like us to do, hold on, I would like us to think about ways, not just to disengage with AI, because that's one thing, but I also want us to look into the systems that AI is allowed to foster in. Why is AI so revered right now? It's because of capitalism. It's because of desire. And I'm gonna tug onto some people's wigs here as I'm undoing my hair. I think that there is a specific reason why this style of singing and this lady who is a bigger lady, but she made this person skinnier. Like, and this is no shade on her. This is more the fact that she felt like that was the only way she could get into the industry. If I'm being sympathetic, she thought that the only way that she was going to find success, and she did, was to use AI, right? What does that say about us as the consumers? That only lighter, only skinnier, only desirable people is the only option when it comes to finding stability. So I think if we want to stop AI from progressing, or we want to stop AI from being the hot topic there is, I think us as the audience, we need to really discuss the reasons why people use AI. It's a really complicated, long discussion. Do you want me to make a longer video on this? Because I really could go into why AI succeeds, because there's many reasons. How do we combat it? We give to the undesirables, to the people who, you think are self-righteous, or you think are not as talented as you think, or whatever. Allow them to have access to opportunities. Because I just saw a video before making this recording, and it was with Viola Davis. She's talking about acting, but I'm going to apply this to music. She says white people, white men in particular, I'm going to expand that to non-black people and desirable people, and people chasing desire. Because let's open the floodgates. Look, it's not just the fact that they get opportunities, right? Opportunities are made for them. So what I mean by that is, it's not only just the fact that a certain singer can get access to these stages, to these platforms, is that people seek them out because they fit the framework of what the music industry wants. It's the reason why certain singers who have no experience, who have, very little talent, who don't care to even, learn and work hard for it or whatever. I mean, what is working hard? But anyway, they know they don't need to, because the opportunities will be made for them. I think once we understand how these frameworks work, we can then easily disengage with AI. That's all I've got to say with that, because I think I've said enough. Let's talk about the LCWRA. There are a lot of disability organisations that don't like me, and oh boy, you know what? With good reason, because I like to call you lot out. And the reason why I like to call you lot out is that very few of you like to connect the dots. You can talk about ableism till the cows come home. You can talk about ableism till the cows come home. But the fact that you can't see that this is just a eugenics project. This is a eugenics project in the UK. Everything that is happening right now is just forcing us, what's the word I want to use? We're hurtling towards a goal. You can talk about universal credit, and people have, and I think people should continue, that the idea that, under 22s are just not allowed to get universal credit. So what about the people who are sick and disabled, who need to look after a family or whatever? Fuck them. They want them into work. If not, they are lauded as useless eaters, which is an ableist term. They are assumed to be not economically viable, which is, again, a disgusting term. That's one aspect. Why aren't we connecting assisted dying to this framework? Why aren't we connecting that return to work report, or whatever the fuck it's called, which blames people for not romanticising work and doing everything they can to try and get reasonable adjustments? When have you ever had an employer try and give you reasonable adjustments? Because my employer was supposed to get me a chair so that I could sit down with my spasmed ribs. Did they fuck? The access to work people actually said you should just work from home, because if they're not going to do anything and they're forcing you to do access to work when access to work told me to work from home, they're changing the curriculum in schools. They're saying that they want people to understand work more. They want them to understand taxes. They want them to understand this and that. I can fucking guarantee you that a lot of these poorer kids understand taxes. A lot of these middle class kids know they're going to be alright. They know they've got a job once they finish education. They don't even need to finish education. Children know what it is to work. I started working when I was 15, 16. Because I knew for a fact that I was not going to be able to afford to do music. So I started saving when I was 16. The pathologising disability, they are always accusing people of faking disability on TV. Oh, they don't have mental health. They don't have mental health. Back in my day, they needed to get this. Back in your day, people killed themselves. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. What I do, because here's the thing, and I just want to say this up front, they are telling you what they want to do to you out loud. I think what we need to do as people who claim that we care is, hold on, as people who claim they care, what we need to do is we need to start connecting the dots. We need to start connecting that these quote-unquote race riots, the murder of people, the raping of people that are happening all across the UK, all across Ireland, all across Scotland, all across Wales, all of that is connected to the way we're pathologising disability, the way we're pathologising like people who don't work in general, people who are carers, things like that, the way that we are trying to romanticise work, we're forcing children to already be seen as economic vessels. All of this is connected. Those who are suffering from the lack of preparedness from the pandemic, which is still going on, in 2020 to 2022, 2023, there was this promise that once we get out of the pandemic, quote unquote, we are going to be flourishing. It's fine. We just need to get through this moment. We just need to beat it in using war terms. And then once we do that, then we will flourish. That didn't happen. Because of course, if we look at it at face value, people fucking died. And now there's a group of people who refuse to die who are now sick. The government are now trying to find ways to put a blame on someone. So they're blaming everyone. They're saying, you know what? These Negroes, these Asian people, they don't want to work. So you know what? Go kill them. They're saying, oh, these disabled people, they're just faking it. Go kill them. Oh, anyone that's seeking asylum, they're wasting resources. Go kill them. That is what they're saying. Whether it's the government, whether it's these right-wing pundits, whether it is these YouTubers that are on here who claim to be for the people, but they ain't. There's this Irish YouTuber who I literally have you are my op. And so many people share your content and I dislike you. Anyway, there are so many people who are saying the quiet part out loud, and I think if you claim to be a disability organisation, whether you are like Scope or you are just like 4 people in a suit, all of you collectively need to put this together and you need to start connecting the dots. Otherwise, you are aiding fascism at that point. Let's talk about the online safety bill. I haven't talked about that for a minute. So the online safety bill is still continuing its bullshit. And how do I know this? Well, I was on Instagram the other day and I was looking at videos, because little known fact about me is that my family, we descend from Spain. We are Hispanic. And when I say descend from Spain, like my great granddad was Spanish, and so my grandma's half Hispanic, etc., etc. Very strange we don't really talk about it, but that's a story for another day. So I was just looking at Hispanic things and I was just looking at stuff. It's very funny. I can't even speak Spanish, so I don't know why, but I was just in the mood. I think a video of Jennifer Lopez came up and she was dancing. I was like, alright, skip. Instagram stops me and says, do you think this video is appropriate for anybody under the age of 18? Jennifer fucking Lopez. That's when I was like, oh, government suppression is suppressing. Mind you, I had my VPN on. I, had all the settings all right. That is what it told me. So we're in a very scary time, because if people are already suppressing music that's been around for ages. This song is old, this video that I saw. Song was very old. And you mean to tell me that you are now asking me if this is suitable for children? Okay. Why should you not figured that out a couple of years ago? 1. But 2, we need to really talk about government suppression and how serious this is. So there's a report that came out the other day where it was saying that any video, consensual or not, that depicts strangulation could be seen as a criminal offence. The Guardian article that I read, fuck the Guardian, but the Guardian article that I read didn't have any rebuttal. So it gave me like propaganda. Do you not have any opinions against this? Okay. They were like, yes, this is seen as women's rights, woohoo. But fuck sex workers. Swerfy cunts. What else can I say at this point? I'll keep it short. The government should not be able to say how you get your rocks off. That's it. The government should have no control about what hoary shit you see on the internet. Because the moment they say, oh, you're not allowed to look at hoary shit, right? It is a hop, skip and a jump for the government to see hoary shit as queer shit. Come on. Come on. They are doing a hop, skip and a jump for suppressing all the whores and saying, oh wait, queers, you too, over there. And that's why I don't like respectability, because while certain people, I was going to say a name, but let me know. While certain people are going at Bacardi events and like, look at me, I'm shilling for Israel. I'm shilling for Boiler Room. Ooh. We've got this to deal with, okay? Get your shit together. Conflating sex work with abuse automatically does everybody included in the service, because it means that you don't see those who are sex trafficked and abused as victims, you see them as whores, and, you know, quote unquote. You see the actual whores, you see them as abuse victims, but then you treat them as criminals and you don't support them regard. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Let's not, right? Let's not. They are purposely making this vague in order to catch everybody. Don't try and be like, oh yes, because there's abuses everywhere. But let's be honest here, when has the government ever cared about abuse? When has the government ever given a rat's ass about abuse? Prince Andrew, Mr. Andrew is still out of jail. That man is still about. Keir Starmer was about to have someone from the Epstein saga on his team. He outright defended him until people were in an uproar about it, and he was like, oh, maybe not. So that man who openly won't discredit people like Andrew Tate and ting, you're sitting there and telling me that he cares about women's abuse. Okay. Ooh. All of this comes down to digital blackface and racism, because when I say all these things, I say all these, like the online safety bill, and I talk about like abuses that are happening in the world and things like that. What is quite interesting by a lot of these watchdogs, whatever, is that they very rarely, sometimes, but very rarely, talk about racism and how black people's bodies or non-bodies, how they are sexualized, how abuse has already been put onto them, or they're already being seen as dangerous by nature. It means that a lot of things that are consensual or aren't even sexual or whatever are being put in that category and will be automatically suppressed. I think about like the way I present myself online and the way that I talk and the way that I am. A lot of my presence by nature is going to be suppressed, because I'm recording on my phone, I'm recording with some crusty audio, because I don't care, I'm not spending thousands to try and get one YouTube video to be like famous or whatever. But because I don't do that, YouTube are automatically adding AI to my video, they are automatically upscaling my video, they are automatically suppressing my video because it is deemed as not worthy to be on their algorithm. TikTok, they say, if you look poor, we are not going to push your video. How can I not look poor? There's that aspect, but I think even from like the online safety bill aspect, I sit there and I think I'm always having to declare that like, no, my video, I'm not making a video for kids, I'm not making a video for children. But I do also then wonder, I'm like, I think people who are supervised, whatever, should watch my videos, because I think they should know what's going on in their world. Why wouldn't a 16-year-old, 15-year-old, 14-year-old, 12-year-old, whatever, want to know what is happening? Why would they not want to know about what is being suppressed, what is not? What is going to affect them in the future? What might be affecting their parents, their siblings, whatever? I really think about it and I'm like, that's the point. I'm connecting the dots. Anyway, I need to finish my hair, so I will finish with this. Anusha's been working. I just did a performance on the 1st of November. It was so much fun. It's the first performance I've done this year properly, and I'm very happy that I did it. I'm very blessed to be given this opportunity, and I am very excited for it to continue. I am very happy that the virtual space is still being respected. I wish more British people would respect the virtual space, but that's a conversation for another day. I'm just very excited that I continue to do this work and can talk about things like this and can really, get into it. I showed off my latest song and people really liked it, so that's always fun, because I'm very nervous about my artwork. I just think that I'm taking my time with it, and I think originally I was taking my time with it because I wanted to get it right. I wanted to make sure everything was the way I wanted it and not rushed. And that is still true. But because of these algorithms, because I have to solely rely on an algorithm, and I'm trying not to, I've got my newsletter, so I write to my newsletter, I've got my, website and things like that, and I'm making new websites and trying to promote the song. But ultimately, my main crux is that I have to rely on algorithms in order for my music to succeed, regardless. What I find really difficult is I am then having to I have to understand these algorithms. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I think you should always have to understand an algorithm. But I'm having to really learn about these algorithms against my will because that is the only way that I can promote myself. I'm having to really, really look into how I'm going to be suppressed and figuring out ways of can I be bothered to even fight against it. It's really hard. I mean, I'm always going to be called a whore, but being called a whore and having my video suppressed and things like that, that's always a concern for me. So it means that I'm having to really think about what I'm wearing. It means I have to think about, I can't really do this on YouTube, so I'm going to have to figure out a way around it. It means that I'm having to just completely continue to change strategies, make sure that I change my wording. It's exhausting, man. It's exhausting. And even the whole Spotify thing, I'm now getting to a stage where I'm having to send off my music to be promoted on certain platforms, and I'm having to look for platforms that don't mind if your music's not on Spotify. You would be surprised about the people who care about music being on Spotify still. So, that's the price that you pay for when you're trying to support people, is that you lose convenience, and that's totally okay. But I'm starting to feel it. I should say that. I'm starting to feel that I just very rarely have time for myself. So I'm trying to, things like today, after this, I want to do my hair, I'm going to listen to a bunch of D&D, but anyway, I have a newsletter. So, subscribe to my newsletter. I tend to put full performances on there. I tend to talk about things a lot in depth. It's only once a month, so I don't like to clog up your inbox, and I know what that's like. But I also talk about things that I can't always talk about in terms of the YouTube videos. I might even have a little Hollyoaks section. That'd be quite a cute, what's happening in Hollyoaks? Is it this fun? And maybe Americans will know what I'm talking about when I say Hollyoaks, because I know some of you don't have a clue what I'm on about when I talk about soaps, and that's totally okay. This is probably a very long video. I haven't done a long video like this in a while, but thank you for sticking with me. If you're at the end, make sure you subscribe. Because, your local virtual queer musician, theatre wannabe person is here. Let me know if you want a preview of Waits, because I always have this thing, because there's this trend of people just literally releasing the song before the song is on digital streaming platforms. I don't really know how I feel about that, because I don't think it's bad either way. I think some artists that works for, some artists it doesn't, especially if you want to hide a specific bit of the song and you want to make sure that everyone can enjoy it. I don't know how I feel about that. So let me know how you feel, if you want just the whole song now, or do I even release bits of it? Do I release... I don't know, I have to think about that one. Because I don't love it when the whole song's out already, but then, for example with Ray, who has a bigger platform than me, so it's a bad example, but she literally performed the song loads before the song was even released. It sounded so much better when it was produced, it didn't really matter, but Does that work for someone like me? I don't know. Anyway, I will love you and leave you. Will this video save on my phone? Oh, let's play that game.